Good morning, listeners. It is Thursday again, and it is time for us to have our weekly chat. And thank you so much for spending this time, not just with myself, but with South Coast Radio and, of course, Ryan Mudler, our amazing host. How are you today? Now, how are you really today? Are you happy? Are you living the life you want to live? Are you fulfilling your dreams, reaching your goals? Are you feeling successful? Are you learning something new? And are you showing up like the person you really want to be or the person you believe you could be? In other words, are you in and of yourself fulfilled and growing and learning and experiencing? Or are you stuck with limiting beliefs? Are you lacking self-discipline? And have you got a fixed mindset that's telling you this is as good as it's going to get, that I am never going to be, do, have more than what I have today or in this moment? So firstly, listeners, you need to develop a growth mindset if you want to self-develop. And of course, the key word here is self. You need to have the self-discipline, the self-mastery, and you need to have the determination to go beyond your comfort zone. So what does that mean? That means be open to criticism. And that's a difficult thing because when people criticize us, we feel hurt, we take it personally, and sometimes that is intended to be a personal attack. But setting those aside, if people say, you really can do better, or your writing is not as good as it can be, or what you did today is not acceptable, can you sit back and think, actually they have a point. Actually, my boss or my partner in business or partner in life is correct. I can be more and do better. And I'm going to put my mind to achieving more and being better. If you have a fixed mindset about how things are and you are closed off to possibilities, you stagnate and you sit in that space with a limiting belief that you cannot be or do or have more. And listeners, very often we pass that on to our children with, well, you were born, this is the lot you were born with. This is, unfortunately, some kids are born with more luck on their side than you have been. And so you have just got to accept that this is the card you have been dealt. Hogwash. You are the product of your beliefs, of the choices you made. And the listeners who have been following me and listening to me for a while will know that one of my cornerstones is life is choices. And that every day we have the choice to stretch ourselves, to learn something new, to show up better than I did yesterday. Or we have the choice to park off on the couch with a remote, to not be more, and to just sit with the same habits, the same routines, the same patterns that brought me to where I am today. Now, if those habits were great and healthy and the routines were challenging and so on and so forth, then you have the growth mindset. Then you are engaged in self-development. But if you have stagnated, if you are the same person today, on the 3rd of July, 2025, that you were on the 3rd of July 2024 or 2018, then I'm afraid you are stagnating. Then you have learned nothing new. You have not added to your skill set. You have not added to your mindset and open your mind to possibilities. So the first thing is to look at your mindset and say, what are my beliefs about myself and my potential? What are my dreams and my desires for the future? Do I want to be in the exact same position next year this time than what I am today? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, then open your mind and develop that growth mindset. Challenge yourself. Leave your comfort zone and become more. Procrastination is the next thing. Oh my word, so many people, myself included, battle with procrastination, abandoning projects or having a great idea but never really starting it, having great ideas and never really implementing that. How do we get rid of that procrastination? How do we develop the growth mindset? The self-development, and development by implication means it's an ongoing process. Firstly, do what you need to do. If you need to do the dishes, then go and do them. Don't put it off for later or tomorrow and have that kitchen sink full of dirty dishes and you make the excuses to yourself, well, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. And while that may be not the most important example, it is the basis, it's the foundation from which you make other decisions of, I want to learn to do something, and yet you never get to the point of enrolling in the course or getting the expert advice that you need, getting someone to hold you accountable and say to you, Lee, last week you said you were going to start writing every day for an hour. How is that going? Have you kept that promise to yourself? So have someone in your corner that's going to hold you accountable. That helps you to develop the self-discipline that you need to grow. If you want to be a writer, then write. But then set, let's say, 2 hours aside every day that you're going to write, or an hour every day that you're going to exercise, or an hour every day that you are going to write down your goals for the day, and assess, how did I do yesterday? Am I doing better today than I did yesterday? And once you start succeeding and start seeing your growth, then it becomes the motivation and the impetus for further growth and development. Last week I said to you, nothing beats success like success. And putting things off and procrastinating, and it's so easy, particularly when it's winter and it's dark and the days are so much shorter, to just shift those priorities a little bit and say, you know what, I'm not getting up for my run today, or I'm not going to the gym today, or whatever it is that you want to achieve or would like to know more about, and you just don't do it, you just don't follow through. So build good habits, self-discipline. And those two are the cornerstone for anything you want to achieve. There is not let's use sport. There's so much sport on at the moment that we can look at the sportsmen and women and look at how disciplined they are about doing what needs to be done, going to the gym, getting up early, going for workouts, watching their diet, and being committed to achieving their goals. And once they achieve them, and with Wimbledon on, I can use that as an example, that I don't think there's a single Wimbledon winner that said, well, I've won it now, it's my first and my last, I've done it, I don't want to come back. Once they've tasted the victory, they want to come back next year and the next and the next. And we just have to look at Djokovic. What an amazing athlete. What absolute dedication to his craft to keep coming back and keep achieving over years. And that is what success does. As you succeed, you want more of it. And the more disciplined you are, the more disciplined you become. And that in itself becomes the motivation. So as we discussed, I think it was last week, that often the motivation is after the exertion and the effort. It's once we taste the sweetness of success, of accomplishing a goal, of achieving something, that then motivates us to carry on or start the next project. So don't allow setbacks to encourage you to abandon your goals. Don't allow bumps in the road and challenges to scupper your desires and your goals. Have you got goals? Have you thought about that? What are your goals? Short, medium, long-term goals. Just a broad outline. We know life is unpredictable. We know things happen. We know sometimes that we've made plans to do things and it goes completely awry. But at least have a framework within which you get up in the morning and say, well, today I am working towards a particular goal, short, medium, or long term. Listeners, I say this every week, get expert advice if you need it. Every athlete that you can think of has got a coach. Nobody has achieved the top echelon in their sport, in their field, without getting expert advice. We look at successful CEOs of huge corporations that said when they started, they found a mentor. They found someone who would guide them through the process, through the challenges, through the storms to achieve what they've achieved. You look at your actors, they all have acting coaches. Your athletes, they have coaches. So if you need to get expert advice, go and get it. Invest in yourself, invest in your development, because without it, there is only so much you can do on your own. Enroll in a course so that you can get the theoretical knowledge, advance and add to your skill set. Don't just sit there and think, well, I have reached as much as I can and now I don't know what to do anymore. Get the professional support, advice, guidance that you need to expand your skill set, to motivate you and to make you an expert and successful in whatever it is you want to achieve. Your discipline, your determination and your motivation, accountability, expert support, advice. Those are the things that are going to give you the growth mindset to say, I am still growing. I've just listened to a gentleman at the age of 83. He has graduated, and I don't know what degree he enrolled for, but he has graduated and he's been given some award at 83. And you know what his comment was is, I need to grow. I need to challenge myself. The minute you go and sit down and do nothing or go through the same old and stagnate, that is when you are on the downhill. That is when life holds no joy for you, because you go through the same motions today that you did yesterday, last week, last month, last year. And you probably think it won't change much tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. I am going through the motions. And whilst we accept that a lot of life is routine, you get up, you brush your teeth, you get dressed or you shower or whatever your routine is, those things are kind of set. It is what you do in between that counts. It is what you do after you've done the things that you have to do. And here I'm referring to those mundane tasks of getting up, showering, brushing your teeth, etc., getting the family ready, getting the kids ready for school. What do you do for yourself? And hence my question, how are you? Is your time all about other people, your family? And whilst we all appreciate the dedication and the commitment and the effort it takes when you have a family and a growing family to see to and to organize, you have to say to yourself, but what about me? Am I growing? Because, listeners, remember too that our children watch us. Their eyes are like video recorders, and they learn how to live life by the way we as parents live our lives. They learn how to settle arguments by the way they've watched you and your partner settle arguments. Is there lots of screaming and shouting and slamming of doors? Or is there, let's sit down and talk through it. Let's come to a better understanding of the situation and of each other's point of view. Or do they learn that, well, this is as good as it gets. You reach your ceiling and that's as far as it goes. And that's okay. You just have to accept that and, just lean into it, as my son always says. Or have they seen that, gosh, mom and dad or their primary caregiver are growing, they're learning. It doesn't matter that they are of a certain age. They go and learn. They enroll in things. They are disciplined. They exercise daily. They watch their diet, etc., etc. There are a million little things, choices we make every day that will either add to your life, keep you where you are, or even detract from your life. And remember, we set the example for our young people around us who watch us and see how we deal with life's upsets, see how we solve problems, everyday problems. If you walk out in the morning and your tire's flat, do you kick it and mutter and swear and, or do you say, well, nothing that cannot be solved. I can change the tire, or I need to get some help because I haven't got the strength to do it myself. But it's not the end of the world. So let's just do what we need to do to overcome this little bump in the road. That is self-development. That is not settling for the easy way out, which is giving up. That is not making it someone else's problem. It is so-and-so's fault that I am not more than what I am. And again, we get to an age where you can't blame your parents anymore. If you're old enough to make your own life choices, you're old enough to be accountable for where you are and for what you are. So again, I ask you, how are you? Are you growing? Are you becoming? Or are you still just the same old, same old, same old? So listeners, developing a growth mindset, self-development, it takes discipline, it takes determination, it takes perseverance, but it also gives you the joy, that sense of a life fulfilled, that sense of purpose. Every coin has two sides, and if you have a talent or a gift, then there is someone who needs it. You just have to exploit that talent or gift, put it on display, and pursue what you feel is your strength, your passion, your purpose. And then life becomes a lot sweeter, and it becomes less monotonous, it becomes less humdrum, and you start looking at yourself in a very different way. And that's what it's all about. Because I cannot be the best mom, the best partner, the best sister, the best friend, if I am not being the best for me. So we need to be a little bit selfish. And this is why I say, yes, it's very taxing having a young family or a growing family that demands so much of our time and attention. But find that hour a day. And if that means getting up an hour earlier, where you can spend that time with yourself, on yourself, you will look back and you will have loved your life. I have told the story about the woman and her daughter who drove through the mountains and saw the mountainside full of the most amazing colors of daffodils. And the questions they asked were, who did this? And the answer was one woman. When did she do it? Well, she started in 2001, let's say. And how did she do it? Well, she just planted 2 daffodils every day for the last 20 years. And now she has created this amazing, amazing site. And listeners, that's what you have to do every day. Plant 2 daffodils, whatever your daffodils are for you. Spend that hour on exercise. Spend that hour on honing your writing skills. Spend that hour on planning the family's meals. Spend that hour on researching something. Spend that hour on reading up something that will add to your skill set, that will open your mind to possibilities, and explore. Leave your comfort zone, leave your routine, and push yourself just a little bit further today than you did yesterday. And that is self-development, developing yourself into the person where you feel fulfilled and happy, where you feel you've honored yourself and realized your potential. Because listeners, as is often written and said, when you lie on your deathbed, when you are exhaling the last couple of breaths, you don't regret what you did. You regret what you didn't do. And those are the things that will be with you on those last few minutes, hours, or days, are the things you didn't do. So make sure that you live your life to the best and to the fullest. And by doing that, you will pull in your family, you will pull in the ones you love, and you will set the example for them to do the best every day that they possibly can. Firstly for yourself, and then for those you love. So how are you? How are you living? How are you doing? I hope that this inspires you to go and spend some time on yourself and with yourself. I hope that it inspires you to live today and from this day forward just a little bit differently, with a bit more excitement about becoming more than what you are. Listeners, if you have any topics, questions, interests, or perplexities that you would like me to chat about with you, please send them in, and please share this with anyone you feel can benefit from it. It is available on YouTube and Spotify. Enjoy the rest of the day, the weekend ahead, and remember, develop yourself.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.